Hey, what's up, guys? It's Nuke with another episode of NukeStream. Let me know, guys, if you can hear me. Had some sound issue yesterday while playing piano, but I think I'm good now. Um, but yeah, it's nice to be back for another edition of the NukeStream on here Thursday, the day after Valentine's Day. Hopefully, you guys had a good Valentine's Day. Hopefully, you didn't spend more money, one dime more than you had to. Um, But yeah, let's get right into it. So you guys know where to find me, nuclearcaudillo on everything, and then on Twitter it's Caudillo Nuclear. Um, now I'll post my link tree in the chat. Patreon chat is open. I check it about once or twice a day. If you guys want to subscribe, it's $5 a month. You get in there, you can talk to me about anything, girl problems and stuff, and I'll give you advice on the spot on how to deal with things. Because I've been getting lots of DMs and stuff, guys, and I need to justify the time I spend on this. I can't just be giving out advice for free or time because I have to justify it. Um, Other than that, let's get started on the episode, right? So the lonely old man myth. I don't know if you've how long have you guys been in the space, but a couple years ago, I'd say a long time ago, actually. There's a blog post by Rollo Tomasi, and it's called "The Myth of the Lonely Old Man." And it was posted in 2011, right? And that was even before I read. It was even before The Rational Male came out. Um, and I think you can find this essay in Preventative Medicine, which I think is his second book. Um, yeah. But that those books, I'm sorry, that essay is very important because we're heading into another one of those election cycles where it's like the soul of the nation is in the balance, right? But also, um, a lot of people think that the solution to all of society's problems is for more people to get married, and in order for the gynosexual social order, whether it be the tradcons, Republicans, Democrats, whatever ideology people subscribe to, or group, or social standing, or whatever, one of the things they all understand that if they shame men, men do things, right? And that works very well on men that aren't their own point of origin, men that are scared of offending the people they're around, right? So, um, so yeah, that's very important that we talk about the lonely old myth, the lonely old man myth, because this is one of those things that a lot of people, especially women, use against you when you are finally waking up and deciding to live for yourself and be your own mental point of origin, right? So let's say hi to some people. We got Matthew in the chat. How you doing, sir? Godspeed. Hello, friend. Good day. Bruna, what's up? We got Arm Details. What's up, bro? Showing you some love before I go live with Vince in 15. Are you guys playing D&D? Man, I forgot. So many people, all the cool people are streaming today, including myself, right? But I think you guys are doing D&D, right? And then you got at 9, you got Rob and Nick are going on too, which I always like to catch that show. But yeah, I'll catch them too. So guys, if I bore you too much, head over there. And then after the show, go see Rob. It's fun stuff. No, just doing interview. Oh, okay, sweet. And we got the great, powerful Chad Elkins. Sup, Nuke? Hope you had a good Valentine's Day. Thanks, man. You must be really busy this time of year, right? Hopefully you're surviving tax season. Hopefully you're making lots of money and you're helping people out. So, anyways, guys, yes, the lonely old man myth. So there's this understanding, there's this belief that if you don't subscribe to what doing the right thing as a man is, which is marrying, settling down and marrying women, that you'll be alone forever, right? If you get to your 30s, you're going to, and you're not married, you're going to spend the rest of your life alone because of your ways, right? And that's the female revenge fantasy, right? Like men, we have men that are angry at women have the male revenge fantasy, and that is essentially the cats. You're going to be alone with cats, and you're never going to be happy, and you're going to be a wine aunt and all that, blah blah blah. And for the men, women have basically the same version of it, except we're going to be alone with our video games. No one's going to like us, and both sides is a projection of of themselves, right? For example, when women say this, right? A lot what they're saying is, like me, you won't be able to garner the love and respect and attention that you once had when you were 20. But in reality, since women's only agency, main agency is their looks, which and they subconsciously or consciously know, sometimes they bounce back and forth. They project that onto men, meaning that once I hit 40 guys or 50 and I'm single, I'm not likable anymore. No one will want to be around me. When we see clear examples of the opposite, we see 45, 50-year-old men win sexiest man of the year. We see them have successful careers. They're at the top of their game. Politicians, hell, you can't even be president until you're like 45, I think. Um, so yeah, it's just a projection, right? Whenever women say something and bottle all of you in, remember it's all projection, right? They can only see the world. They can't put themselves in another person's shoes, and they can only see the world as they see it through their little box, right? They have to insert themselves in every um, metaphor, example, or everything because that's just the innate female solipsism, which is a survival tactic back from the caveman days, right? So when women say stuff like you're gonna be alone, no one's gonna like you, it's just like it doesn't make sense to me, right? Because like I'm likable now. What's gonna change in 10 years? Do I just become a dick to everyone? Do I just become like do I become so hideous that people can't stand the sight of me? I'm still gonna be the same guy, except maybe a little more mature or a little more life lessons. And maybe a little slower, maybe 10% slower in terms of my health and all that stuff. So my question is, um, uh w- why is it that they're doing this? Why are they trying to and both men and women, why are they trying to shame you into a relationship even if you don't want to be in one, even if being married isn't even a good deal these days? um we had the longhouse. Why do they want you in the longhouse and then threaten you with some kind of consequence of being alone, condemned to be alone forever, right? So luckily I have Rolo's essay, which I'm about to pull up here, and we can go through it, right? Here we go. All right. All right. So we got the myth. I'm about to blow it up too, guys. Hold on. Is that big enough? All right. So the myth of the lonely old man, right? And this is an essay from Rollo. This is, as you can see, a long time ago, September 12th, 2011. That's like 13 years ago, right? I was leaving college when this happened, which shows my age too. But we've been talking about this stuff for a long time, and it goes to show that a lot of people think they discover fire. They stumble upon they lazily and uh in a messy way they stumble upon red pill concepts, and we're just like, yeah, congratulations on discovering fire, dude. We talked about this like decades ago, a decade and a half ago, which is funny. But anyway, so, basically, he goes on to say, hey, as long as it's a disease that necessitates a cure, if a man could be made to believe so, think of the potential profit to be made from and the potential for manipulation of men, right? So, a lot of let's think about this in like economy wise, right? How who is it easier to make money off of? People that are lonely or people that are fulfilled in relationships, right? Um, So it's easier to sell things to lonely people, right? And one of the things you can sell to lonely people is saying, hey, uh, if you're lonely, you're a loser. You need to do these things to not be lonely, right? Guys that are mature and their own point of origin understands that sometimes in life you're going to be lonely, and that's just the way it is, right? It doesn't matter if you're a player or married or single or whatever you are. Loneliness is just another inherent part of a man's life, right? And a lot of people don't are terrified of being lonely, right? There's going to be periods in your life, guys, where you have no one to rely on. Hopefully, as time goes on, those periods are shorter, right? As you gain more influence, uh, more respect in life, and you just have more experience and people like you more. But there's going to be, especially for you young guys, there's going to be periods of your life where you're just like, man, I have nobody, right? Or you have people, but they just don't understand what you're going through, right? And that can create a sense of loneliness. Um, and he goes on to write, the real test for a man is how he lives with himself alone. Precious few men ever truly allow themselves to be alone and learn real independence and self-reliance, right? So he goes on to say for the rest of the paragraph is that a lot of men have never been comfortable with being alone, right? They were raised by their mother all the way till they're to 18, and then after 18, maybe they had a couple bounced around girls and had a little hoe phase or whatever you call it when they were 18 in college, and then they got a girlfriend and they spent basically their whole life attached to a woman, right? Whether it be their mother, their girlfriend, and their wife, or and then subsequently their wife. So they never had a period where they were truly alone, where they were just emotionally independent, had to answer only to themselves and maybe their employer. And you can see that in the way a lot of men think, right? If you see like the Matt Walsh kind of bid that everyone's making fun of him for, is that he's basically saying, "Hey, um, the divorce rate and all these statistics that are made up, and man, it's like in my marriage it doesn't apply because I'm so special. It will never happen to me, right?" And how many times have we heard that, guys? How many times have men said, "Hey, I never saw this coming." Right? I never saw this coming. I never, or anything, right? Plenty of men have gotten divorced, and they're just like, man, I had no idea, right? Because women kind of check out before the man does, months before the man does, maybe years, and then they plan their escape. And then, and once they have that second monkey branch firmly in their hand, then they let go of the old branch, and that's when the guy finds out, hey, they serve you papers. It could be the happiest week of his life, right? And that's all by design, guys. And it's not fair. Women are just good at that, but it is what it is, right? And you got to accept women how they are. And the only thing we can do is trade notes so you guys don't get put in that situation. Or if you're in that situation, know that you are in that situation. Know that what's going on. Um, so that's what happens with guys like Matt Walsh or Tricons is that their whole life they're attached to a woman. They've never been truly alone for any period of time. And and understand that like being attached to a woman is not happiness, right? It's not contentment. It's basically just just another part of your life, right? Regardless of whether you are single or in a relationship or married or whatever, um, you your relationship is not the goal in life. Your goal is greatness, being successful and happy by the way you see fit, not making someone else happy, right? All right. So he talks about serial monogamy. Um, Okay, so now that we're in this gynocentric social order, right? Um, if you guys notice, for you guys that are more lucid and more switched on, you're gonna notice that a lot of the things women shame us for are things that they get shamed for, but don't apply to us. But they're trying to bring us in, right? Like for example, women will say, "Well, men that sleep around a lot lose the ability to pair bond." I'm like, "No, we don't. No, we don't." Like it takes it takes how men lose the ability to pair bond is bad experiences with women. I've seen it, right? Men that get me too'd or men that get nasty divorces, they're unable to love women after that. Not because they don't want to, it's because it was just trauma. It destroyed their life. Right. So they're unable to engage with women sometimes. But sleeping around a lot with a lot of women doesn't make you unable to pair bond, right? And they say that because they're trying to equalize the ramifications of their actions across both genders, right? We see this in how the news, the science, like that date psych weirdo, like he everything that women do bad, men do the same or worse, right? It's just like as a guy, like don't we get enough shit already? Like, why do you want to contribute that, right? Um. Anyway, every RP saying was common knowledge in the 80s. Yep. Generic white bitch. We have a biological clock. We'll do anything to get impregnated by a good man ASAP. My opinion. Yeah, but not from 18 to 27, right? Like Dalrock said, women play this game of chicken where they don't want to waste one more ounce of their youth and beauty than they have to on the woman on the man they're gonna settle with, right? So you don't want to they don't want to settle and they don't want to They don't want to waste any time, any ounce of their youth and beauty more than they have to, right? So they think about pregnancy and stuff like that when they start to realize, oh shit, I'm not as hot as I used to be. It's time to get right with God, and it's red pill 101, guys. Uh, Juan Walsh genuinely says hope is a strategy. Yeah, and hope is not strategy. Women do not like when you make them your life mission. Exactly. Again, remember, always watch what they do, not what they say. Right. Godspeed says people like date psych are never about taking new action. No, it's just like, hey, here's some study. Like it's entertainment, right? And here's the thing with science. There's useful science and there's science that's just like, ooh, interesting, and then you move on, right? Like where you see an article for 2 seconds or a blurb, and you're like, wow, it's interesting, and then you move on, right? Uh, Science that's useful is like, hey, this new treatment's gonna heal this disease, or hey, this new mechanism is going to make your life easier, or whatever. No, but like a study saying that I enjoy bestiality more than women by 15% because I'm a man. How does that help me? All it does is make people think I'm even more like men, even worse, and that does not make my life easier at all, even if it's true, you know. And I don't think it's true. So anyway, um, so yeah, and to get back onto the point, so a lot of women understand that their worth is tied to the man that they're with, right? The highest, the most high value man they can retain commitment from, and they think we're the same. Again, it's like that projection, like, oh, if men, I want men to suffer the same consequences that I do, but I also don't want to. I also want the benefits of men as well, right? They want us to suffer the consequences that they go through, but they also want the good stuff that we get when we do the right thing, right? So they want respect for sleeping around with multiple men. I'm like, that's not how that works. You don't. That's just not how, and it will never work that way. You know, until humans evolve millions of years from now, we're still going to be the same 100,000 years from now. And then you have so what he's saying in this paragraph is basically, hey, because woman's worth to the world and to herself is what is the highest ranking alpha male, whatever you want to placeholder term you want to call it, I can retain and keep to myself, right? Um, that is my value to the world. And they want men to suffer this kind of consequence and suffer this problem too. And it's interesting because uh, a lot of men believe it. They believe like, oh, if I don't get a hot wife or a wife, then I'm a loser. And I'm like, dude, really? And that's why we say things like, hey, the relationship is her problem. And girls don't like that because it's men acknowledging that we are not the same and that we have certain benefits and there's certain double standards and we're going to exploit them just like they exploit their double standards, we exploit ours, right? It's only fair, right? So um they think that because men don't get in relationships that they're going to suffer the same outcome that they do. And it's not that I have a revenge fantasy, guys. It's that I that you will get it, but you won't like it. And I've done shows, tweets, interviews about this. And as life goes on and you get experience and you take a look into women's real life, not this Twitter bullshit, not YouTube, not blood sports, like you get to meet real women and you date them casually. Um, you get to see where the train wreck starts, the chain of decisions that leads them to situations where they can no longer retain the guys that they like, and also they got to start settling for guys that they would never give a chance in their 20s. It's like it's it is what it is. It's not ever going to change because actions have consequences. But the thing is, like, we say that here on a screen, it's easy to say, but when you're dating someone that you actually like and you see the patterns and you see the patterns in multiple women, it kind of, depending on how compassionate you are or how much you care, it kind of shakes you up a little bit, right? And maybe it's because it's me and I'm a more compassionate guy, right? But for the most part, it's very interesting to see the the train wreck emotion where it starts, right? Where the first wheel gets derailed and then ending up into the, um and the first wheel, it's always like, bad habits. Like they can't stay in shape, right? They were hot for like 2 years, maybe banged a bunch of dudes, strung a couple guys along, had a little beta boyfriend that they controlled. And then they dump him, and then they gain weight, and then and then they have bad habits, like they vape, they drink excessively. Then come the STDs. And right, guys, we suffer from some things too, right? But like guys, for us, like scars and like bad shit in our lives makes us stronger people, and makes us more desirable to be around because it just makes us more experienced and tougher. But anyways, without going too much detail, um, there have been times where I just look at girls and I'm just like, man, like you are coming over every week, we're hooking up, you're doing everything that I would like a girlfriend to do and asking me, but the thought of you settling for me or settling down with me disgusts you, right? Whether she says it explicitly or implies it. And that, guys, is like that's the revenge fantasy emotion, right? Because you will meet women who will do everything that a girlfriend does. Like she will be the perfect girlfriend. She'll cook. She'll ask you, "Hey, can I give you a massage? Can I cook? Can I please cook for you? Can I come over?" Right? Hey, I learned this new recipe. Can I make it for you? And then you're gonna be like, "Oh wow, she's really trying." And then you realize, like, wait, It's not like I'm even the fun guy. I'm the guy she plays house with, so she can feel like a woman, I guess. I don't know, but anyway. Let me grab the super chat, guys. We got Nico. You get one of these, sir.
Thank you so much, best friend.
I started down my RP journey at age 17. Realized I'd rather die alone and sad than put up with even a fraction of the BS I saw from my mom growing up. Yeah, a lot of guys get red pilled by their moms. They see how like difficult their moms are to deal with, and just like I can never deal with that. Doesn't even have to be a woman. Sometimes you'd be like, man, how do I avoid being my dad? you know, I don't want to. I don't want to deal with that. But anyway, crap. Uh, thanks, Nico. I appreciate the $5 super chat. Uh, Godspeed says, yeah, there's a whole bunch of research where I'm just like, what the fuck is the point? Yeah, it's just like, guys, like you guys' time is valuable, right? You don't have time to be hearing podcasts about like if you settle down between the ages of 27 and 32, you have a 15% higher chance if you do this job and then you're at this. Like I don't have time for that shit. Like how the fuck do I get laid? How the fuck do I fix my marriage? How the fuck do I go to sleep in peace? Who cares about what some stupid survey? Who cares about society? Like I served my country for 6 years. I've always paid my taxes. I'm a good person overall. Like, what else do you want from me? You want me to the little life and time I have on this earth to fix society for a bunch of people that wouldn't piss on me if I was on fire? Hell no, hell no, dude. Fuck that. Sorry, I get a little, you know. Got what's up, man? How you doing, Mastery? Opium Tales, my XGF I hated the most. Gilbert for me, revenge fantasies are retarded. Yeah, yeah, you think you want them, but you trust me, guys, you don't. If you do, it's probably more to do with that she was just a bad, evil person. You would wish that on any asshole, right? Like male or female. But the fact that she dated you or random women you don't know, for you guys have dated casually, you get a window into a woman's really personal life. The secret life that no one knows about. And you realize that there's a lot of things that women deal with the consequences of their action that they don't really talk about too much, right? It's always the cats and the wine and the loneliness. But I can tell you right now, there's more. There's more things that they deal with. Um, and for anyone that dates women casually long, I don't know, long enough time, like you get calls of them crying or tearing up. You know, um, you get, you know, one of the saddest things, not saddest, but one of the most interesting things. is when women catch an STD that obviously you didn't give them, and they try to blame you, but they don't blame you because they don't like you. They blame you because um, there's something happening, which is their life is beating the crap out of them for their decisions. Right? They decided to have unprotected sex or fuck a lot of dudes, and then they can't help but to start transferring that responsibility to other people, right? And it's tough for them. And we don't care about women anymore apparently because we tell women do whatever you want, but like um you know like if she calls me crying like I don't know what to do, I'm like I can go to the clinic with you, right? But first off, um I didn't give you shit, and you got to understand that before um but anyway, I digress. We got another super chat. I got DJ Amp, sir, you get one of these.
Thank you so much, best friend!
DJ Amp 499. Dig what you're doing, bro. Keep it up, man. Thug nasty thug. Thank you. Do you follow me on Twitter? Is that why you put your thing there? I'm going viral on Twitter again. Apparently I posted something that pissed everyone off or made everyone laugh or whatever. It's the video game meme. WDJ. They want to be a good plow horse for them. Yep. All right. So yeah, they want to project, hey, my value is the type of man is being in a relationship, like your value is the same. And I'm like, no, a man can be single his whole life and still be great, right? Women that are single most of the time, even though they think they're gonna be some kind of like, super cool traveling wine mom that everyone looks up to. They're gonna be spinsters, they're gonna be jealous, they're gonna be bitter, um, and all that. Even though I don't want that for them, but I mean that's what life gives you, right? But yeah. Anyways, let's continue on. Uh, so I'm going to suggest that most AFCs, most feminized condition males like and embrace the lonely old mammoth because it is a buffer against potential rejection. Does that sound like a stretch? It shouldn't. When used from a feminized perspective, this myth is most certainly a shaming social convention with the Latin function of getting men to commit to a feminine form. You better change yourself soon, or your soulmate might pass you by and you'll be lonely and desolate in your old age. That's the feminized use of the myth. However, the internalized AFC use of the myth is a buffer. This then becomes his rationale for slaying for a substandard LTR or marriage. Um, yeah, so basically what Rolo's saying here is forcing yourself to be in a relationship with somebody that you don't want is it's for them is absolving them of the task of two things, of the task of going out and getting multiple women to understand their value in the marketplace, right? Um, so for men that aren't good with women, don't have abundance, don't understand women at all or anything, or blue pill idealists or whatever version of that AFC, um, to them, relationships are a goal. And to them, getting into a relationship is kind of protecting them from the game, so to speak. And we know that marriage is not a buffer from the game, from women's innate biological drives. It is actually even harder. And a lot of men think that once they get married, it protects them from the outside world of all the crazy dating and degeneracy and cheating and all that stuff. I'm like, no, it's actually harder, right? Because you can't walk away just as easy. I think I talked about this on my last show, um, or on the stream yesterday I did with Pearl for Thor's fundraiser. So, uh, yeah, it's basically, hey, I don't want to play the game. I want to be safe. I don't want to go out there and experience all these hoes and I want to be safe in my marriage because when I'm married, I don't the work stops. I don't have to maintain that attraction with my wife. And that's why a lot of men fight for the social convention to be true. They think that once they get married, hey, I can let go. I can be my goofy self and true love and all that stuff. But in reality, the game never stops. Whether you're single or in a relationship, your sex drive will always be there. Maybe until you're 70, you will always find young women attractive, and you will always want to have sex. So there is no The game never stops. For guys that are mired in blue pill idealism, that's terrifying, right? Because they want to break. They think that once they find the one, that life will be much better, and then the girl will like them for who they are, right? When in reality, it's actually quite the opposite. They like you for their women are looking for the best guy they can. So you got to be that guy constantly, especially in a marriage. So you don't get to not play the game. You have to become the game when you're in a marriage, right? You still got to be charming and smooth with your wife. You still got to tease her. You still got to run dread. You still got to, let her know that you are an attractive man, and that if she doesn't play her cards right, she will lose you, right? And that's just the way it is. Like, if welcome to being a human being, welcome to life. Wake up, wake up and smell the flowers. Uh, Opium tells, been with the missus 30 years. I can assure you the best thing a man can do is to have options. Yeah, always. That doesn't mean you have to exercise them. That's for each man to decide, as long as you understand the consequences and why he's doing it. But you always have to have options forever. Maybe in when you're older and the kind of like there's a different um kind of you kind of like bond more because you're all old and too tired to go do things. You just want to raise grandchildren, whatever. But even then, you still gotta be the man, regardless. So, Godspeed with the $5 one. Here, you get one of these, sir.
Thank you so much, best friend!
All right, Godspeed with the $5 one. Australian dollars. Couple of girls I want to open at my dorm, but they're always in a giant girl group huddle. I've just got two big balls and get in there, don't I? Are you asking me? Like, just thought, hey, just be polite. Just be like, hey, ladies. I know you're in a giant group huddle, but I just wanted to say hi. Easy as that. So, all right, let's see. Let's keep going here. Thanks for the $5 and one super chat, sir. All right, so moving on. Let's see if there's anything else here that I haven't mentioned. Another thing you'll notice is that guys that are constantly married and constantly in relationships, they're just serially monogamous, right? They tend to live through their single friends. They see what you're doing and be like, man, if only that could be me. And I'm like, dude, it could, but you just can't let yourself be single and alone. Um, you kind of depend on women being in a relationship so much that once you're single, you just fall apart, right? And I think for a lot of guys, especially when they hit their stride in their 30s, it's a scary thought to be to 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 have that success with women and just be happy alone. It's a scary thought, right? Because um they think like women, right? They see like, oh, I don't want to be alone for the holidays. I'm like, dude, okay. Um, it's just first off, the holidays are just one day, right? And number two, uh, what's there are men that are alone for the holidays and they're married. There are men that are alone for their birthday and they're married, right? Because they feel alone in their marriage. So I think there's this quote by Bill Burr who's like, a lot of guys would prefer sleeping on a mattress on the floor and being free over being married, have a house, a mortgage with a wife you hate and kids that hate you and a wife that won't have sex with you. They're going to be fantasizing about that mattress on the couch, right? It's going to be the ultimate fantasy for them. And sometimes I do it. There's nothing wrong with feeling lonely, and wanting that companionship, right? Um, but at some point, right, you have to understand, hey, there are men that see my lifestyle of doing whatever they want all the time, and they want it. They want a break. They want to be able to be like, hey, I don't want this anymore. I don't want to be with my wife that hates me. I don't want to be with my kid. I don't want my kids, I love my kids, but my wife holds them above my head constantly. Right. So do you really want uh that life? So think about it. Right now, I'm not saying don't get married. I'm just saying that marriage is not a goal. Marriage is not a ticket to happiness. It's not your golden ticket to. It doesn't absolve you from being attractive. It doesn't absolve you, but by that you have to have options. Doesn't mean that you have to exercise them, but you do have to have options. So think about that, guys. Like, do you really need to be in a relationship to be happy? And that is what gives you the most power in today's dating marketplace, right? Because the biggest thing they want to convince you of, especially um women and blue pill guys, is that if you're not in a relationship, then you're not happy. That's crazy, right? Like the only way you can be complete as a man is if you're in the service of a woman, if you're in the longhouse, right? And that's what Matt Walsh is saying. Like how can society function if so many men are single? And I'm like, easy, it's functioning right now. And it's weird, right? Because we everyone talks about the downfall of the West and how it's all over, blah blah blah. But if you think about it, life has never been more comfortable. I keep getting promoted every year. I keep getting not promoted, but I keep getting more money every year. I do date less, but I still have women in my life. I've had women in my life for the past like 10 years, right? So what gives, like what is going on here? Why is it that people are trying to convince me that if I'm not married or with a woman that I'm incomplete as a man, right? And again, it's the longhouse. It's women projecting their insecurities onto men and making us think that we are the same and that we are going to suffer the same consequences. They are the ones worried about where their life's going to go if they don't have settled down, right? They're the ones more obsessed with body count than we are, right? A lot of them make up these stories where it's just like, oh, I went on a date and a guy asked me my body count, and I'm like, um, that first off, I don't like very few, you know, very few men do that, and number two, uh, uh men don't really care about body count unless you tell them or act in a way that proves to them that they have a high body count, right? We don't care about numbers. We talk about it on podcasts because whatever, it's red meat. But if you really think about it, uh, I'm only worried about body count if I see behaviors that show me, oh, you have a high body count, right? Like for example, excuse me, if I take you to salsa night and you know everyone, you know all the dudes, and they're all hugging you, and and they're getting a little touchy feely with you, right? That's like, okay, that's indication one that like, okay, you have a lot of male friends and a lot of men that are comfortable with you. It's not, it doesn't mean you have a high body count, but it's like, it's like one of those HMMM moments, right? If you have history, if you tell me, hey, I have herpes, that's an indication that you got around, right? Now, are there some women that get it just by having, even with the low body count? Yes, but more than likely, you have um a high body count if you have an STD, a pervasive STD, right? Yeah, and that's why we trade notes. Now, does that mean we can't have fun? No. Does that mean that other men wouldn't consider you? No. It just means that, hey, um, it's not the number that matters. It's the behaviors attached to that number and how it'll affect me, right? If if we're in a relationship and then I found out you have pictures of your naked pictures of yourself all over the internet and you did pornography, then we're done, right? And it is what it is. And every day women are care less and they keep sharing this stuff, and I'm just like, stop sharing these things, right? Because what's gonna happen is you're um the guy's gonna leave you no matter how blue pill he is, because it's such a disgust factor inside of a man's stomach to find out that his woman is getting piped on camera, right? Don't say anything. Just keep quiet, right? Just shh, and you'll be fine. All right. Uh, All right, and that's basically the article. So we go back to it's a good article, guys. It's an old article and all that. But anyway, uh, so how does this pertain to what we're seeing today? Because the article is very old, right? And the red pill stuff doesn't change. There's really not much to add to the red pill praxology. We just repackage it and resell it in different ways. But I will say this, as it pertains to my own life, your parents may be the people that tell you, "Hey, you need to settle, or else no one will ever love now because no one likes old men." And then it could be friends, it could be exes, and all that stuff. But I want you guys, and a lot of guys have trouble doing this. Look at your life and the direction it's going. Right? Think about momentum. Think about what's happening in your life. Most likely, at let's say you hit 30, most likely people are going to start respecting your opinion. Do you think that goes away at 35 or 40? Right? Are you going to have more experience or less experience at your career at 35 and 40? Are you going to at when you're 30, um are you going to be more experienced with women or less as time goes on, right? More experience, right? You're going to be able to understand their emotions. You're going to be able to understand and navigate their bodies sexually. Like, you know, uh, there you go, right? You have to look at this stuff and look at your life and see the direction it's going, right? Because women are trying to convince you out here that your life is getting worse when in reality it's getting better. Isn't that crazy? All my exes, all getting fatter, almost all of them, all single, make terrible decisions with men. I can talk about all three. One of them I haven't looked up uh, at all, but another one I reconnected with recently. We were joking about dating apps and how tough it is to a girl at 29. I think she's 29 now. A girl at 29 joking with her ex about how hard dating apps are and all the crappy dates she's been on. Meanwhile, I'm having all this success with women, right? Success for me means that I'm having doing minimal effort in order to get laid or have relationships with them, right? And she can't find a guy she likes. And she broke up with the guy she left me for. So it's look at your momentum in your life, and before you guys get emotional and respond to women online or look at a podcast or even in real life, like think, what is she trying to tell me by saying this weird thing about me that isn't true? Right? Because if you guys really look at your life, you're going to get more experience with women, with your career. You're going to get better at things. You're going to be more sexually experienced. Um, and understand too, women just talk. They don't like, oh, please, if there's any theme for 2024, watch what women do, not what they say, right? That is why the cake tits girl got so mad because all men sat down together and were just like, hey, this girl is here not to promote any kind of political ideology. She's here for attention. And she got mad not because we're bad or evil, we're calling her out. She got mad because we figured it out on a mass scale. And that terrifies women. When men figure them out on a mass scale, that terrifies women. That's why they don't like the red pill because, hey, we've been telling men, hey, like everything women do online is performative. It's all performance. None of it is like uh, it's none of it's objective reality. They just say things because it feels good to say things. I'm conservative. Great. Are you married? No. How old are you? 30. Are you showing half your ass and boobs online? Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. But like it's because you're conservative and you're trying to trick people into thinking this. And then we make fun of you. And then the worst part is that you get mad instead of just ignoring us. Right. And same thing with this lonely old man stuff, where they'll be like, you're gonna be lonely forever, right? Um, and it's like, wait, I'm making better quality friends, I'm getting more women. And even if you're not settled down, right? You have the option. because you're seeing multiple women. That means you have a high more leverage to choose which woman's right for you. They don't have, and every day that leverage for them goes down. None of my exes can get me anymore. None of my exes would be able to bring me back into their life or a man like me. I'm almost sure of it, right? And I know that's like me saying I have a revenge fantasy, but it's because they're back in my DMs. That's how I know. Because if there's a lot of nukes out there, they'd be married or taken. But there isn't. There's not a lot of nukes. There's not a lot of you guys out there, believe it or not, right? Everyone in this chat is probably in the top 20% of men. Doesn't mean you're attracted, doesn't mean women are obsessed with you or coming up to you, but it just means that you're not the bottom 80%. It means that you're not ugly, you're not unattractive, right? And then from there, you have things like, hey, I have a look, become a contextual alpha, you know, learn some game, and you'll momentarily dip into the top 4%, and then eventually maybe you get successful enough where you are the 4% just by existing, and then all those skills that you learn on the way to the 4%, boom, will come in handy, and then you'll become a force to reckon with. You know, when you get to 40, you have even more leverage, right? So don't believe this projection, this lonely old man myth. It's, you know, everyone, when they're attached to their ideology and they see their ideology doesn't hold up, you know, they're going to defend it to the very end. You know, they're not going to be like, Nuke, that tweet really changed my mind. No, they're never going to do that. They're going to get they're going to lose everything, right? Usually people come to the red pill not because it's because they lost everything. They got zeroed out, meaning their worldview got completely destroyed by reality, and they're coming looking for answers. And one of the first things they learn is that, hey, your value is not attached to the woman you're with. Even if you have 3 women, that doesn't mean anything. A lot of guys look at me and they look up to me because I am a little better than average with the ladies. And I tell you, hey, like, women reject me all the time. I go to salsa. Like last night, I went to salsa night and danced with a beautiful chick, and she was like not into it. She was like bored, and like I she didn't want to dance with me anymore after one song, right? But then I danced with another girl, and she was super into it. I had one of my best dances. So it's like where I can't have an ego about this, and because I don't have an ego about this, right? I do better because I don't take it personally because my value isn't attached to women. It's attached to my achievements, my personality, my character, what I have to offer to the world. Women will never be able to take you at face value and say this man is this value. They are designed to take you for granted, especially in today's society, right? Um, they're designed to take advantage of you and to take advantage of your labor, your time, your effort. And one of the ways they do that is by shaming. And one of the ways they shame is by saying, hey, if you don't give me everything I want and cater to all my needs, you're going to be lonely for the rest of your life. That is exactly what the lonely old man myth is saying. And the guys that go with that, right? Um, they are married, and their wife or girlfriend is part of their value, is part of their brand, or part of who they are, right? You can see this all the time. Like a guy will say, "Hey, you're a cornball" on Twitter, right? Like who cares if someone internet stranger calls you a cornball? They'd be like, "I'm not a cornball. This is my girl. She's so hot," and that's how you know they tie their value as a man to their girl, right? When in reality, for the guy that's red pilled, understands himself. If I lost all my women today, I still be the same person. I still have a job. I still am valuable to society. I still have friends. I still have this YouTube channel. If I'm married and I lost my wife, yeah, it'd be kind of, it would suck. It would suck. I'm not saying I'm a human being, right? But deep down, my value is not contingent on that I'm married or single or anything. It's just, it's what I bring to the table to the world, right? Um, let's see. You show more status when you have GF. True. Yes, guys get envy when they see you with the hot GF. Dane, what's up, Dane? Nuke is just a guy doing the work. Yeah, I'm just a man in the arena. I'm just like you guys. I don't take this shit like I don't take girls saying shit to me personally. Hey, Nuke, you're this. You're gonna be alone forever. Great. You don't even know me. Um, hey, Nuke, you're a player. You're gonna, you don't respect women. Okay, great. Like I literally every week I go to salsa. I cheek kiss women. I give them a hug. I talk to them. Last night, my friend's girlfriend came up to me, showed me her baby, her new baby, gave me a hug. We talked, right? Like these people with these little online personalities and these little kind of projections that they have, they think that because I say realities about women that I don't like them and that I live in a man cave somewhere. When in reality, I tell them like, hey, I go out and dance with women twice a week, once or twice a week, right? I have dates with women. I have decent relationships with women, right? I get calls from women all the time just to talk, right? Um, Even the women that I just see casually, they call me and crying sometimes with their problems, right? And I don't look at that. I'm like, oh, these bitches are so stupid. I look at it. Hey, she's a human being. She's a woman. Women in this world where women don't need men anymore. Sometimes they do, and it seeps through with, hey, I need to call this guy that's banging me, that's also a gentleman, maybe he'll listen to my problems, right? And they call me. And I don't say, bitch, I don't want to hear your problems. I just hear them out. And then I say, okay, well, whatever, whatever you do, if you have any issues, call me. Right. And when you have certain mastery over your emotions and you have a certain understanding with women, right? Yes, that's why I say, hey, you're gonna get your revenge fantasy, but you're not gonna like it because once you get enough experience with women and you get a window into their life, right? You're going to wonder why we ever just abandon women to let them do whatever they want, right? Because it's almost cruel, right? I don't care personally. I can't do anything. I can't change a human being's mind. I'm like, go ahead, go vape and have sex with random men, right? But the ugly side of it isn't like the cats and the wine. I keep telling you guys that it's them calling you at 12 a.m. Hey, sorry to get uh, graphic here, right? But it's like, hey, they call you crying, hey, my vagina's leaking. I don't know what to do. Did you give me something? Blah blah blah. And then like you have to be like, hey, it's 12 a.m. Can we talk about it? And then she goes to the doctor. Oh, it's this, and I'm like, okay, I can't give you that. Men can't give you that, right? And then you got to tell a woman like, hey, the reason you have that it's because I looked it up. CDC says you're fucking too much. And how do you tell a girl that, Those are the little things that you're going to start seeing in women's lives as you date them, right? And they allow you to see because here's another thing, and this is a phrase that a lot of especially married trichomes hate, that guys like me will know more about women and their wives more than they do, right? Because when I was sleeping with your future wife, she told me everything. She wasn't trying to impress me for a relationship. She was like, "Yeah, this is the guy I bang. He's pretty cool. He takes me out and we have a good time. I can be open and with him." And that's how I know all these things sometimes about women because I don't shame them. I'm open. They tell me everything, right? And there are times where they start telling me about guys and stuff, and I'm just like, oh, she doesn't want to be with me anymore. She's showing me, but no, we still continue to hook up, and that's because I don't shade them. I understand where I stand with them. Not every opportunity I have with a woman is, hey, I gotta be married with you. We gotta pursue a relationship, right? I understand that women just like to have sex, and I understand that women like attractive guys, and I understand that women sometimes make bad decisions, and sometimes I want to be that bad decision, right? So the lonely old man myth is like the opposite of that, where hey, that girl that's making you chase her around all of Dallas, you gotta settle down, you gotta fight to be in that girl's life, or else you'll be alone, and that's that rejection against that's that buffer against rejection that Rolla was talking about. So once you start getting to know women and you realize, wait, let me stop shaming her sexually. Let me be super. Whenever she starts talking about some off the wall shit, let me just all ears and just laugh when she says this, like, "Oh, I sucked a dick and behind a dumpster in this club once." And you're just gonna laugh, like, "Wow, you're not, that's pretty crazy, right?" And a lot of guys they don't have the stomach for that because they're just not there yet. But once you guys let that shit go and you just open yourself, let the women be comfortable around you, stop shaming them, you will fucking learn so much. It will blow your mind, right? And that is why I tweet the way I tweet and I talk the way I talk, is because I decided, hey, let me stop shaming women. Let me stop being this guy that they feel like they have to qualify their morality to, or being a good girl to. Let me be the fun guy. Let me be the guy that they call at 10 p.m. on a Friday, or at 2 a.m. on a Friday, when they were clubbing and all that stuff, right? Let me do that. And then when I did, I got the window into their life, right? And that story is just one of many stories where, you know, and then she said, uh, the doctor gave her some bullshit story, because doctors are never honest with women, and no female doctor is gonna tell her, "Hey, stop fucking. You're fucking too much." Um, so essentially, I was a gentleman. I said, "Hey, you want me to go to the clinic with you?" After I got blamed for giving her something that I, medically speaking, could not give her, because I am a dude. Like, I cannot give a girl bacterial vaginosis, right? Um, and here, the weirdest thing is that I um I basically told her nothing. I just said, "Okay, well, let me know when you're better." And then we hung out, and then I invited her over. I didn't make a move, and that's when you see what women really are, and they're struggling with the amount of freedom they have and the little accountability that society and men gives them. And then they want to tell me that it's my fault, right? It's not my fault. I can't control women, right? I am doing the things I got to do to be a better man, and we're having, we were hooking up, and she decided to hook up a lot, and she was irresponsible, and she blamed me, and I didn't get mad, right? Because once you have mastery with women, you're just like, yeah, of course she's gonna blame me, right? And then she realized, oh shit, he didn't get mad at me, he didn't act up, he just acted normal, right? A week later, she was making me food. And the hardest part about this, guys, is as you get the window into the lonely old man, lonely old woman, right? You start seeing that within her, there's something fighting to get out. And that's that sweet girl that wants to be good for men. But she's been heartbroken so many times, or her friends have convinced her so many times. And it fights to get out, right? And that's what I was saying, explaining to you guys. Like, there's several women in my life that'll cook, clean, do my laundry, give me massage, ask to do these things for me, and call me in the middle of the night crying or anything like that. And they don't want to be in a relationship with me at all. It disgusts them, the thought of being in a relationship with me. But there's nothing I can do about that, right? They have to, the relationship is her problem. I can't, I can't convince a woman to want to be with me. That's her own decision. Um, so ultimately, the lonely old man myth is just that. It's a myth. It's not going to play out the way they think it is, right? Um, I know I talked about the female side of things a little bit, but those girls can all find a guy. Maybe, if they're good enough at lying about their past, they can find a guy. All right, let's see. We got Kyle. Hey Kyle, what's up? Nuke is the effing man. Thanks, bro. You are too, my friend. DJ Am, Twitter's not a real place, and your ego should not be tied. No, guys don't. No one knows me on Twitter personally. Come on. We got Filipino working at CVS. What's up, man? I know what your name references to, by the way. W Caudillo, what's up, my friend? Leono Azul. That's a pretty cool name. Thank you. Uh Dame, nothing shades your view more than being a guy in between all their possible guys they try to be with. Yeah. Um my biggest thing, guys, if you guys are starting out and you start dating, don't shame at all. Don't be afraid of women's sexual side. Don't be afraid of their dark, because that's gonna help you in the future, right? And see right through these women. Right? It's gonna give you that kind of like advantage in terms of understanding real female nature. So opium. If you don't shame women, you can keep your mouth shut. You will get laid. Yeah. Have fun. Enjoy. Remember, don't take seriously what the gods made for fun. Right? Godspeed. I got a story about how a girl smashed her teacher. Yeah, they can't help it, right? Because you didn't judge her. Yeah, open up. Don't be this kind of like guy that she feels like, oh, I have to be good to this guy or else he's just gonna think I'm a slut. No, be cool with her, you know? Be like, um, and you'll realize too that when women are comfortable with you, that maybe the sex gets better, you know? Maybe and I wish I could do a show about sex and sex tips that have helped me, right? But I can tell you right now, one of the best things you can do for a girl in terms of your sex life is to make her comfortable with her sexuality around you, right? That will take her from only wanting to do missionary and doggy to her wanting to bring other girls into the bedroom to her, ask tr- asking to try different things, and it's just a win-win situation, right? You guys got to get over the fact that women are some these little chaste, pure little girls that are who they say they are online. No, even the most trad girl is a complete slut if she's with the right guy. You just want to be the right guy. Now, the goal is for her to be a slut just with you for a relationship, right? But if she just wants to be a slut in general, hey man, you be the mistake that she wants in her life. Um, and don't worry about being a lonely old man myth, right? Because women can only be sluts for so long. Um, in order to be for a woman to be a slut for a long period of time, it takes extreme discipline, or else something's gonna give, right? I can tell you ways women kind of facilitate being promiscuous for long periods of time. Number one is that they have to use protection, right? It like STDs wreck women, right? Both emotionally and all that stuff, and physically. So they have to use protection. And how many women are that responsible, right? Number two, um, they have to sleep with men they have no feelings for. And that's tough for women, right? Because a lot of women do get feelings by sleeping with men. Um, and the mechanism by which this happens is that they sleep with the guy they like. You're like, oh, he's hot, but then they realize like, oh, he can get other girls, and that jealousy kicks in, right? And she's like, okay, he's hot, and but I want him to myself, right? They start getting possessive, and then the guy is so good that he also provides the comfort she needs to a certain extent, and that's what happens with me a lot of the times where you know I lead with the alpha like you're supposed to, and then we hook up a couple times, and then I start treating her not like good, but I say things like, "Hey, how are you feeling today?" And they're just like, "Fuck!" Like, oh, this guy can't be both. He can't be the 80/20 alpha beta that I need. No, and then that's the problem, guys. Where if you're spinning plates, err on the side of alpha because if you up the beta even a little bit, you can get attachment. You can get a girl that can get really attached, and you know, they'll be calling you crying all the time. It didn't work out with this guy. Why don't you love me? Why can't we be together? And you don't want that as a guy, right? I mean, it's better than not having sex at all, but just something to think about, guys. I think Rolo has a chapter on transitioning from spinning plates to a monogamous relationship, but I digress. Um, anyways, the kids in the mansion story is something I consider extremely often. Yeah. For you guys don't for you guys who don't know, I made up a metaphor called the kids in the mansion, where we take a bus full of women, um, and we take them to a mansion, and those women are children, right? And we drop them off at the mansion, and we say, "Have fun. You guys do whatever you want," and we leave. And the girls or the children are like, "Wait, we can do whatever we want." So they start, what do children do when they're left alone for long periods of time? They start breaking stuff. They get into fights with each other. They eat all the snacks in the fridge and get sick from all the snacks. They hurt themselves. They fall down stuff. They electrocute themselves. Um, and essentially, some guys notice this and they're at the window and they're like, "Hey, stop what you're doing. You're gonna hurt yourself. Get out of there." And they're like, "Look at these weirdos at the window and at the door trying to like tell us to stop. Like, who do they think they are?" And then you have guys like me that kind of slip through the back and play patty cake with them and play video games with them and then leave like, "Okay, okay, girls, I gotta go." Um, and then the bus comes up again at 3 days later or a week later, and it's like, "Hey, kids, how did you guys enjoy?" And they're like all sick, full of bruises, all mad at each other. No leadership, no one to tell them to stop doing things. The mansion is destroyed, and they're just like, "Oh, why did you do this to us? Why did you just leave us here for a week? Why couldn't you just come back?" And that's what we did to women. We told them, "Hey, do whatever you want. We don't care. You're in charge now." And then they did whatever they wanted, and now they're coming out of their 30s, absolutely like wrecked. And that's what I was saying in my stories with these girls, right? Where uh, they'll have trouble having children, not even because of the fertility, just because of the kind of health habits they had in their 20s, whether it be having unprotected sex and getting diseases that prevent you from having children, whether it be not priming their body ready to have children, um, and having at risk pregnancy, right? Um, Also, not being able to pair bond with men anymore, right? Where you get your heart broken and you get so emotionally abused all the time that a guy being good to you and providing you the comfort you need is you feel nothing for that, and the list goes on, right? And that's the kids in the mansion and all that. Um, it is what it is. So, a glimpse into sweetness. I always try figuring out what that was. Yeah. Mastery says, "How do you know they don't want to be in a relationship with you?" You, do you want to know like the big answer? Or you want to know like what they have said to me personally? Um, one thing I know is the lack of genuine burning desire. Now, there are people that say genuine burning desire is when a woman wants to do things with you. But as a lot of you guys in the chat know, there are girls that like to do things with you, but they don't want to be with you, right? They just like the idea, like they want to play house, right? A lot of women like playing house, but they don't want the responsibility and the burden of being a girlfriend. They just want to be free. Understandable, right? Because that's what the kids in the mansion is. Hey, you got unlimited choice, meaning that every guy you come across, there's always going to be your hypergamous doubt, doubting whether this guy's the guy that's the best you can do, is always going to be overshadowed by the fact that you have 1,000 matches a day or 100 matches a day on dating apps and you're getting constantly approached by men. Um, so every guy you're gonna, your competition is that, right? And a lot of women can't deal with that. They constantly defer to, wait, I have better options, so let me go here. And it's not until they finally start seeing a decline um, in their options and they get so broken by dating that they're like, I really got to settle down or else I'm going to go crazy, right? So the way women have told me personally, hey, I don't want to be in a relationship with you. Sometimes they just tell me, like their first girl, I liked her a lot, but I was like, hey, like, sorry to get crass again, but she would she would fuck me like the living shit out of me, and I was just like, God damn, this girl has like a demon inside, right? And it was like very like enthusiastic, and I was just like, and after like a 2 or 3 months, I was like, hey, you like what we're doing, or you want something more? But like I'm passing. She's like, no, I'm fine with what we have, and I'm just like, oh, okay. And that's one way, they just tell you. It's not that I was like begging for a relationship. I was just not used to that level of enthusiasm sexually from a girl that wasn't actively pursuing me, right? Because we're transitioning into a new dating age, so I was like, whoa. So that's one way to tell you. Sometimes they just never bring it up, right? Girls that want a relationship will bring it up eventually. They will. You don't ever, as a man, have to ask a girl to be in a relationship. Um, they will let you know. It's the relationship is her problem, right? So it doesn't matter how much nice things she's doing for you. It doesn't matter how well she's doing in bed with you, right? There are women that are just simply love playing house with you, and they want the fantasy and that little comfort of, and that that femininity needs to go somewhere, right? So they need to serve a man, and they're like, okay, this guy, I enjoy having sex with him. I'm gonna cook and clean for him, and then I'm gonna go be a hoe again, and I can have a way for my femininity to express itself. Because if I don't, I'm going to go crazy. Because women are naturally designed to serve others and cooperate with men. It's just, like Rolo says, men are better together than they are apart. Um, but yeah, it's just they never ask. They just, they never ask. They don't get jealous. That's another thing. If they don't get jealous about other women, they only see you once a week. They're not constantly trying to be in your life, that's another way you know they don't want a relationship with you, right? It comes with experience, but you'll know. Um, and a lot of guys don't understand that. Again, a lot of women just want to have sex with you. That's a good scenario, guys. You get all the benefits of sex with none of the responsibility of having to be her boyfriend, right? So I think I already answered that question. Yeah, like I was saying, Mastery, like it's a tough thing for a lot of guys to like kind of deal with, even for me at first. But um in 2022, I met a girl. 2021, I met a girl who started seeing Cash, the same girl I was talking about. Um, and we hooked up, and we were just casual for like 6 months, 7 months. And I was like, wow, like she really doesn't want anything to do with me, but she likes having sex with me. So great, I'm down, sure. Um, and then one day I'm swiping on Hinge and I see her profile. I'm like, oh, okay, which is a little weird because I'm like, how's a woman that's so enthusiastic with me in bed and such a pleasure to be around looking for other guys still, right? Is she looking for validation or she's looking for a boyfriend or whatever? And one of the things I really shocked me is that she used pictures that I took of her on our adventures on her profile, right? And that as a guy, even if you're seeing a girl casually, that's whoa, that's like whoa, like and then you realize like wait, um, it's very confusing, right? Because she's coming over every weekend and she's like, happy to see you. So it's like that right there shows you that like what I was saying, some girls just want to play house. They just want to meet up with you, pretend that you're a girlfriend for a couple hours, get that comfort. Some girls just like getting fucked really hard and then waking up and having breakfast with you and watching anime with you, right? And that's why I say, guys, when you have these long-term casual relationships with women that don't want to be with you, you have to be extremely disciplined, right? Sexual discipline is important, but emotional discipline is too, right? And it's tough, right? Because we're humans. She would suggest animes for us to watch. She would call me crying sometimes. She would tell me about her family problems. She would cook for me. Um, she wanted to have unprotected sex. She would beg me. Um, and that over time softens your heart as a guy. It softens you up, right? Because you're spending time with someone, you're connecting, right? But you have to have emotional discipline, understanding that, hey, you have to look at her Hinge profile and be like, hey, this girl's actively searching for another guy, actively. And she did find another guy for 3 months, and then we rematched on Hinge, and we got right back into it, which is extremely intelligent of her because it keeps her body count low, I think. Um, but it messes with a lot of guys, right? That's why I say leave your ego at the door. Not a lot of guys will be able to handle this situation. They call her out, they call you a whore, they call her a whore. But then you gotta realize too, like, hey, sometimes you're just a dildo. Sometimes you're just the dude that she sees once in a while, right? And also you gotta understand too, like once you get attractive, guys, a lot of women will find you after a bad date, after a bad experience with a guy, right? Because imagine me, right? I have my apartment set up nice. I have a cute puppy. I play piano. I have a very comfortable, warm, inviting space. I plan everything. I dress really nice for her. I tell her what to wear. I tell her what to do. I reserve her parking spot. You know, and I had this thing where every time she'd come over, I pull out my pocket a buzz ball, right? Like those little buzz balls. And she felt like, oh, this guy's like, he thinks of everything. He's gonna get me drunk. It's gonna be so good. And I'm so happy. And he doesn't shame me sexually and all these things. And it's like this whirlwind of comfort and fun and excitement. Like it's like she's going to a theme park. I was basically her theme park. Right. But once you leave the theme park, you leave the theme park, right? And you go back to work, to your regular life. Right. Um, and it happens, guys, and you got to understand that too. Like that's why I say the relationship is her problem, right? Don't get wrapped up into women's actions unless she's trying to seriously be in in a relationship with you. She will let you know. If she wants to be in a relationship with you, she will let you know. So All right. Janice says the problem most women sleeping with the top 10% men. Is that a problem? That's the best news I've heard all day. Is it hard to be in the top 10%? Not really. I don't want women fucking losers. I want women having sex with me. Uh Use a period tracker to know when to lean either way. Rolla talks about the luteal phase and shit. Yeah, that's true. Um I keep a mental note of it in my head. Um and it tracks, guys. It really tracks. No link. I'm in a situation right now. It's nice, though I see most LTRs as kind of settling. Are you talking about the situation I was explaining? Hey, it's Booty Scratcher. What's up, my friend? If she's okay with only meeting up at 2 a.m. and sitting on the couch fucking for months and never being anything more, it's a clear sign. Pretty good spot, too, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah. And I would take her out dancing and I would take her out to do fun stuff. And she was a pretty gal, like, and you miss them. You're gonna miss these girls because it's just like it was fun, right? Relationships are full of responsibility and compromise, blah blah blah. But like a girl that just shows up once or twice a week to have fun with you and all that, there's like this kind of like it could be our last time because we're both actively searching for other people, and people don't see the beauty and the art in that. So I was hot boss fitness woman of the gym. We had sex first day. After she goes, yeah. There's gonna be times where that happens too, guys. Just again, s- stop blaming yourself with why women don't stay. It's not your fucking fault. I keep trying to say this. Women l- have so much options and they got so much issues and problems. Trust me, I know what they're going. I know the shit that they go through on a daily basis. And it's not your fault, right? Just fuck her like it's your last fuck. Enjoy yourself. And her coming back into your life, that's her problem. She gets to decide, right? I think I got a super chat by Matthew. Matthew W, 4.99 Dos Equis donation. Good stream as always, man. Thanks, Matthew. I appreciate it. You get one of these.
Thank you so much, best friend!
All right. So back to the chat. Where was I? Um, a lot of women flake also after we've been together. Yeah, dude, they flake on me all the time, right? There was a girl who I picked up. She was like 21, 22 last year, and I had an absolute blast. And I made her discover things about her body that she didn't know. And let's just say she had a really, really good time. That's all I want to say. And she goes to me the day after. Not goes to me, but she never saw me again. She didn't want to see me again, right? And that's why I say again, guys, the ego, you guys got to leave it. Because if you tie your worth to a woman, you're gonna every time a woman doesn't call you back or text you back, you're gonna be like, you're gonna feel worthless. Like, no, dude, it's not your fault at all. It's only if you don't get laid at all, then yeah, then you have to start looking and maybe it is my fault, right? But if you get laid and the girls aren't coming back to you, hey, like what are you gonna do? Oh, am I not good enough for these hoes? No, dude, they're not good enough for you. Come on now. Never feels good to be the cameraman. What do you mean? No link. Got a free sushi from my neighbor who wants a man while being with a guy. Yeah. Um, yeah. So, what does it matter why they leave? That's not your problem, right? You're always gonna have abundance. There's always gonna be the next girl, right? If she doesn't want to stay, that's her problem. Booty scratcher at no link. Most relationships in America is the classic splitting of alpha beta between two women. Women want hyper alpha for feels or hyper beta for security control, right? And they never find it in the same guy. And even if they did, it would be too terrifying for them to have, and then usually sabotage it, right? Um, so let's see. Tattoo, don't care, had sex across your forehead figuratively. Yeah, doesn't matter. Still hit. And once you hit, you can't unhit a girl. Once you have sex with the girl, like once you hit, there's nothing you can't go back. Cameraman, when she posted those pictures, just okay, yeah, it was a little weird, right? It was like, man, I must be a super hyper simp, right? But the sex just got better from that point on. It was the weirdest thing. I was just like, wait, she's gonna leave any second now, any day now, any day now, and nope, didn't leave. And then I think around this time last year, she told me, hey, we're done. I'm seeing somebody. I can't. And while she was taking care of my dog, and um I said, "Hey, after I pick up my dog, do you wanna go grab some coffee or something?" She's like, "Oh, I can't. I'm kinda seeing somebody," meaning she was already in a full relationship while she was taking care of my dog, right? So, um, I went and picked up my dog. It was kinda awkward. She didn't let me go upstairs, right? Because she was trying to be like, "Oh, I'm in a relationship," and all that. Um, and about May, almost exactly 90 days later, we rematched on Hinge. And she was excited. She was like, "Hey, what's up?" And then we went on a date. We didn't hook up. And then we went on a second date. And man, it was like fireworks. It was pretty insane, right? It was like nothing happened. And we just kept doing it over and over again. Um, and that's just the way it happens, guys. You just gotta stop caring about, you know, you can't chase women after you've already done your part. Your part is to be attractive enough to get them turned on enough to sleep with you. After that, she's got to do a little bit of work. She's got to start qualifying. And if she doesn't want to qualify, that's fine. You got to simplify it. Hey, you want to come over? No? Okay, cool. Hey, you ask again another week. Hey, you want to come over? You want to do something? You want to go out for drinks? No? Okay, cool. I'm never asking you out again. Right? Don't don't think about reasons. Don't think about the why. You ask her to go out. She rejects you twice. You move on. That's it. You know, and it sucks. Women are, and the whole thing, the whole story. The moral of the story is, right, that once you have emotional discipline, and you stop getting mad at women that don't belong to you, that aren't your girlfriend, your wife. Um, your abundance will increase twofold, right? Because you have this attitude that, like, hey, you can post pictures, you can use pictures that I took of you all you want for Hinge or whatever for other guys, but just know that I'm never gonna, I'm not chasing you. Like, you want to have sex, we'll have sex. If you don't, we don't, and that's it. It's that simple, right? I don't care if I see you on the street with another guy. If you hit me up, I'm gonna act like I didn't even see anything. You're not my girl, right? But anyway, mastery blueprint. Back to the lonely old man theme. What's the plan once you want kids? I mean, I want kids, right? But who said there's a like an age limit? Like, again, what do you need to have kids? A girl, a woman. You don't need to be married, but you need a woman, right? Are you getting less attractive every year? No, I'm getting more attractive. You're getting more money. Um, physique's getting better. You're getting smarter, more charming, more experience, more fun to be around. How does that translate into less options, right? Think about that. Um, Having a child is easy, guys. You just ejaculate inside of a woman. That's it, right? Is that really that easy? You just go on a date with a girl and ejaculate constantly inside of her, and you have kids, right? It's it's that problem. That big problem is you're trying to take a problem that belongs to women and make it men's too. Like, it's not your problem. Marriage is not a goal. Relationship is not a goal for a man. It's an eventuality. It's gonna happen sooner or later. Um, and just let it happen when it happens. You're worried about better things. The relationship is her problem, right? The LCD is you being attractive. The drop and sometimes even block, so you're not tempted. Muscle gets strong. Gonna send you an SC. An SC. Tommy Warriors Pet. Real talk. Playing it safe and pedal selling is the fastest way to lose her. Yeah. Um. I gotta. Uh. I would say emotional discipline, sexual discipline is going to like. It's like one of those things that is gonna keep you sane, and also because like you see things like that. Um. And you're just like, whoa. And you want to say something, right? But what leverage do you have, right? So, anyways, um, yeah. So, lonely old man myth, guys. Um, Ultimately, everyone's gonna convince you that if you're not in a relationship by a certain age, you're gonna be alone forever. It's a female projection. They're desperately trying to make women's problems and disadvantages in life your own, right? They're trying to keep you in the long house. You get married whenever you want to get married. You get in a relationship whenever you want. That's the point of the red pill, right? Is to give you that leverage that you need in order to um live life and have a positive sexual identity. You're not like forced to do things because someone else said, right? You're not gonna like get ugly overnight. You're not gonna turn 35 and all of a sudden your dick's gonna get smaller or you're gonna get shorter or you're gonna get stupid or ugly or something like that. You're only gonna get more attractive, and they hate that. And that's the thing in life that a lot of women hate about men is that we talk about it all the time. They find different ways and different little words to like move around, but the wall is the wall. It will always be the wall. It is what it is. It takes hundreds of tens of thousands of dollars to even begin to defeat the consequences of the wall, right? Whether it be through surgery, whether it be through fertility treatments and all that stuff, right? Meanwhile, us men we're just like, yeah, 20 sucked, but like every day I get more muscular and hotter. And it's just like they gotta deal with that. They hate that, but they gotta deal with it, right? It is what it is. So we got a $5. No link. You get one of these, sir.
Thank you so much, best friend!
Thoughts on a girl whom has a 6-year LTR always comes up to me in the gym and talks me how her to me and her BF are so common. Her BF is so insecure about me. Yeah, of course she's insecure. She's talking to other men. uh, yeah, it essentially what's going on is that she's not sure about her boyfriend. That's all it is. Doesn't mean she's super attracted to you. It just means she's not sure about her boyfriend, which is a common thing in a lot of relationships nowadays. Booty scratcher. Also, when you get emotional, a woman has other men in rotation. You'll become the beta and push her into the other guy's arms. When you maintain frame, women are more prone to come back. Yeah, exactly. Egg fucking exactly. Um, you know, one of the things you'll realize is that you'll be doing fine with the girl, and then you start displaying beta shit behaviors, and then you'll push her away. You won't notice, but you'll be like, "Hey, she's not here this week." You pushed her into another guy's arms, right? She's not your girl. You don't have to do nice things for her, right? Um, but you also notice that like you have you know you tie her up to the bed and slap her and spit in her mouth, and she's back for round two 2 days later, right? There's your answer. Pay attention. Um, what's up, Anis and Krill? To be a homewrecker or not to be? Yeah, don't be a homewrecker. Not worth it. Um, there's a lot of second order consequences from that. You know, not worth it. There's plenty of girls. Don't recommend it. But anyways, guys, that's all I have for today. Uh, just know there's no such thing as a lonely old man, right? And also, being alone is nice. Like right now, I'm gonna sit my dog on the couch, maybe watch a couple episodes of anime. I want to wake up. No, I don't have any. I don't have to worry about anyone but myself. There's gonna be a time in my life where I may have kids and I may have to worry about much more people than myself, and maybe it'll be rewarding, right? But also, like that's another part of my life. That's a different part of my life. That doesn't mean that because I am the way I am now, I am never going to achieve that. Matter of fact, having multiple women and living for yourself is the fastest pathway to having an LTR, right? Uh, but they're never going to understand that because to them, the lonely old mammoth is a buffer against rejection. I'm living the fight. I'm the man in the arena. They don't want to be. Therefore, I'm living wrong because they're not going to rise up to the challenge. First off, making themselves their own point of origin, going out and talk to women and getting rejected, and then facing the realities of women, whether it be stumbling upon a hinge profile of a girl you're seeing every week using pictures that you took of her to go advertise yourself to other men, or women's daily struggles with the bad decisions they make. They don't want to experience that. They're scared. They're scared to live life. They're scared to live in reality. They want to live in their 1950s reality where women like them just for them. We're not here for that, right? Um, but anyways, guys, thank you so much for uh, hanging out. Remember to donate to Thor um, and help him out. He's recovering right now from his surgery. He's uh he's active. He's tweeting. He's sending people. He's active in the chat. So he's doing fine. He's recovering fine. So thank God. And guys, I had a chat with Pearl to raise money for Thor yesterday. If you guys want, I was dropping a whole bunch of bombs on that show too. If you guys want to check that out, just go on Pearl's channel and you'll see it. And I'll see you guys. Oh, Friday night, tomorrow night, I'll be on Red Evening, my 1 year anniversary of being on Red Evening with Rob and Jack. So tune into that. It's 11 p.m. Central. And then Saturday, Rule Zero, and then right after that, Dragons, and then Sunday, possibly Post Zero. I don't know if I want to be on this Sunday. I may be busy. So yeah. All right, guys. It's been real, and you guys have a good day. Peace out.